On August 29, Kamala Harris sat down for her first formal interview after launching her presidential campaign in late July. The highly anticipated interview, which was the first unscripted appearance by the vice president after starting her campaign, was conducted by CNN's Dana Bash. Vice presidential candidate Tim Walz was also present during the interview, but Harris took most of the questions. The interview took place as the Harris campaign is in the middle of a bus tour through southeast Georgia, the first stop for Harris and Walz after the Democratic Convention in Chicago. And it came at a time Harris has been facing growing pressure to give a major interview or make an unscripted appearance. The interview was, to be very honest, it was very normal, it was routine, actually it was boring. Or maybe let us just say it was sedate, unlike the very interesting high-wire acts offered by Donald Trump. Harris appeared comfortable and composed, and the interview was largely unspectacular. But most importantly, Harris did not hurt her chances. The interview was free of any missteps or major bloopers. The answers showed Harris to be a pragmatist and a centrist, not at all like Comrade Kamala, as Trump calls her these days. She did not offer much in way of policy specifics in the 27-minute long interview. Instead, she defended the Biden administration's legacy and record, and at the same time gave enough indication that she would plot her own independent course as president. While her loyalty was admirable, Republicans could use it to tie her closely to some of the unpopular Biden policies. Bush, for instance, asked Harris about her plans for the first day in office, and she said her priority would be bolstering the middle class, but did not offer much details on that issue. She listed some of her signature policy proposals, including a child tax credit, bringing down grocery prices, and ramping up construction work across United States as a solution to the housing shortage. An interesting part of the interview came when Harris was asked about her perennial policy flip-flops. For example, during her 2019-2020 primary campaign, she had tried her best to win over the progressive Democrats by adopting a largely leftist narrative, running even left of even Senator Bernie Sanders. She supported Medicare for all, Green New Deal, and she was in favor of, back then, she was in favor of decriminalizing migration, and she was opposed to fracking or hydraulic fracturing, which is a climate-hurting method of extracting natural gas and oil. On fracking, yesterday she said she would not ban the process if she is elected. And when asked about her support for the process, the banning fracking back in 2019, she said she had reversed it the very next year and promised that she would never support the ban again. On immigration, when she was pressed about the crisis, she said she would enforce existing laws at the southern border. And the host, Bash, reminded her that the Biden administration waited for more than 3 years to implement an executive order on securing the border. But Harris put the blame on the Republicans. She blamed Trump and the Republicans for blocking a bipartisan border deal that was negotiated by senators from both parties. On foreign policy, more specifically on Gaza and Israel, Harris again took a middle path, largely following the Biden line, expressing absolute and unwavering support for Israel and its defense, and also rejecting calls from progressives and Arab Americans to make US aid to Israel conditional. She, however, did acknowledge that far too many innocent people, innocent Palestinians, have been killed in the past 1 year especially. When asked about her plan, any specific plan that she had to end the war, Harris referred to the ceasefire deal presented by the Biden administration. The interview gave a clear indication that Harris is moving to the center, which would be crucial for her chances, especially in the blue whale battlegrounds of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The shift in her position on the controversial issues like immigration, fracking, and also Gaza clearly point to that centrist pivot. She wants to be there in the middle, in the mainstream. During the Democratic Convention, her campaign had featured a host of never-Trump Republicans. Yesterday, during the interview, she offered yet another olive branch to the centrists and moderate Republicans. She suggested that she would appoint a Republican to her cabinet, a hint that she would govern as a centrist and most probably in a bipartisan manner. Another issue was, of course, race and gender. On race and gender, especially on how Trump has been using the issue to define her and to mock her, Harris tried to not make it a topic of debate. She, in fact, sort of dismissed the question, saying that she would prefer not to discuss her race and gender. As the interview concluded, it was clear that Donald Trump was not impressed. He immediately wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, that the interview was really boring. He told reporters that Harris looked unpresidential and that she rambled incoherently. But Harris not making any major missteps during the interview cannot be good news for Trump. Actually, boring could be effective. For instance, the latest Fox News polls, something that Trump follows very closely. The polls show that Harris, her popularity is rising steadily. The Fox survey from the Sunbelt battlegrounds of Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina has been encouraging for Harris. It shows her leading in all 4 states except North Carolina. But having said that, it is still Trump's race to lose.